Hi guys, this is Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins, and today is video 2 of an 8-part series about effective practicing techniques. Today we're going to talk about the value of warming up. Okay, so there's 4 main reasons why you want to really be warmed up. Number 1 is that if you're warmed up, your joints and everything will work much better. When you're cold, your joints are very stiff and they don't work very well. Now, if you start your practice session playing something that's very technically difficult and very demanding, then you're going to have more failed attempts at playing. Now remember, the whole point of your practice session is to play something correctly as many times as you can. Now obviously, if you start trying to play something that's very physically demanding and you have a lot of failed attempts, well now your body, your mind is memorizing those failed attempts. And so now you'll have to play it correctly even more times to try to erase all those failed attempts. So your practice session will end up being very inefficient and it'll actually lengthen the time that you have to practice. Okay, so number 2 is that you want your body to be in a normal state when you're practicing. When you're cold, your body requires more effort to achieve certain things on your instrument. So for example, shifting, rapid finger placement, string crossings, achieving certain dynamics, vibrato, they all require a certain amount of physical exertion. When you're not warmed up, they require more physical exertion. So you don't want to teach your body, you don't want it to learn how to do everything on your instrument in 2 different ways. Oh, this is how I do it when I'm cold. Oh, this is how I do it when I'm warm. You want to make sure you're warmed up. So it only has to remember one way of doing everything, your normal state of existence, your warmed up body, your warmed up mind. The third big reason why you want to make sure that you're warmed up is to avoid injury. This is especially important if you're perhaps a more advanced player, you're having practice sessions that are, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 4 hours long. It's very important to be warmed up because you can injure yourself quite easily. When you're warmed up, your muscles and your tendons and everything is more pliable and it's more stretchy, it works better. But when it's cold, it's less pliable, it doesn't stretch as much, and you have more of a tendency to rip and tear and otherwise injure different parts of your body that need to move while you're playing. So it's really important to make sure you're warmed up. If you just spend that extra 15-20 minutes warming up, your body will thank you, especially as you get older. So the final really big reason why you want to make sure you always incorporate a solid warm-up routine with every practice session is that your warm-up period of time gives you the opportunity to safely work on certain technical aspects of playing your instrument. So usually a practice session will involve scales, technical exercises, could be your bow, could be your left hand, vibrato, that's a big one. Or you could simply use that time to work on some easy music. Maybe it's a duet music or it's some easy orchestral music. The point is that when you're warming up, you're playing slowly. You're not overly taxing your mind or your body. So now you have the time to really focus on certain aspects of how you play your instrument. So for example, let's say you're playing scales. Well, this gives you the opportunity to really work on your pitch. If you're playing fast and you're playing aggressively, you don't really have time to look at, how you're playing your instrument or really focus on your pitch. But when you're playing a really slow scale, now you can listen very intently to your pitch. Make sure you're playing really in tune. You can look at how you're playing. Are your elbows in the right spot? Are you using your bow hand properly? Is the left hand shape correct? Are you holding your bow properly? Is your thumb bent? Is your pinky bent? Are you putting your fingers down right? There's all these technical aspects that if you improve will make you overall a much better player. And now that you're warming up, you have the opportunity to work on that stuff. So guys, in conclusion, I hope that it's pretty obvious by now that incorporating a warm-up routine in every practice session will not only ensure that every practice session is much more productive and efficient, but you'll also be avoiding injury and you'll have the opportunity to improve every aspect of how you play your instrument, which in turn will make everything that you do much more easy and therefore enjoyable. So guys, if you have any other questions and comments, please put them below the video here, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that little alert bell, so you guys, get a notification every time I create a new video. And like I said, this is the second video in the 8 video series. The next video, number 3, will be on how to do scales, and I'll go in a lot more detail. And don't forget, here at Kennedy Violins, we're all players and teachers, so we're always happy to answer any kind of questions you have anytime. Thanks, guys.